from me. I'll show you. He did. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's get stuck into Heat 12 now. And Julian Wilson hasn't had the best results this season either, a 13th and a 9th. Currently back in 14th position on the ratings. And after those first two events where he's had finals before, you just expect him to be a lot higher on the ratings at this point.
You know, I think that's so neat about about Sebastian. Get back to that.
Julian Wilson up with some speed, loading up. Just
luck that happened. He constructed that heat. Here's Seabass up and riding.
Seabass has a bit of wall to work with, drives through that turn, but didn't bother with the finish.
They let 3 waves go by, and they were too far inside.
Here goes Julian. And just taking the chance on an insider there. Low scoring heat so far. We still have a competitor out there in Wiggolly, Dantas, who is yet to take a ride. That could change in a second. We've got some waves approaching. On the inside, without priority, Julian Wilson taking a chance on one. Draws off the bottom. Really nice, clean cutback to get started. Bangs it up there over that end section. Should be the best scorer of the heat so far, Wiggolly. And he just throws up a huge fan of spray. Floats out onto the open face. Drives up into the lip and lets go of another tidy backhand snap. That's the Wiggolly Dantas that went missing for a little bit at the back of last year. That was really sharp surfing.
It's exactly what we want to see from him. You know, the fire hose. He throws so much spray and he doesn't even look like he's doing anything, and it's just all of a sudden just off the rail. That is exactly what we want to see. We didn't see any of that this season so far. And mediocre size wave. But look, he carries the speed through this first section, and then there, zap. And again, that time, nice little variety for the back end. A beautiful hook and a finish. 4 solid turns. We've seen 2 solid turns go upwards and excellent. I feel like that's going to be a big score for him. Compressed surfing from Julian Wilson. Just the 2 maneuvers here, but looking solid as well. Knew that this was kind of a low-scoring heat. We're already into the last, 13 and a half minutes to go. He caught this wave, trying to just build, sitting at that outside of priority with 3rd priority. So there he goes. Does well. Gets himself an all right score.
A 4.5 for Julian Wilson. Out in front, Wiggolly Dantas has a number on the way. Needs a 6.83 from that single ride to make the jump into first. And it looks like his ride is going to get him there. An 8 for Wiggolly's first wave. That patience paying off. He used his priority very wisely. Let go of a couple of big backhand hooks to get that number. To a surfer, Glendon Ringrose in Heat 1 of round 2, and Joel Parkinson up against Samuel Pupo. As we see Sebastian Zietz. Super snappy first turn. The second move though. Here we go. Zietz, the 28-year-old, up once again. Has some speed as he hammers down the line. Nice option there just to kick the tail of that board through the lip. Right behind him, Julian Wilson taking off. Julian, you can tell he's ramping up. He's opening that stance. He's looking for an air. But he's just not finding the right section at the moment. Wiggolly, meanwhile, just sticking to the more traditional approach. Takes a fall on the end of that ride, and as a result, won't get the big backup number that he would have liked. But at the moment, his approach is working out pretty well. Better looking wave for Julian. He's been a little out of rhythm with the set so far. Let's see what he can do with it. Drives off the bottom. A really cool float to get started. Still holding all that speed to get to this end section. Throws it up there.
Final Hooter sound. Take a look here at the replay. Again, carrying a ton of speed. Like how he swiveled his board through that section again. Connects with it. And then there he saw his little grab. It looked like it's almost so low that it's
6.5 for Julian on his last, so just narrows that margin a little. between himself and Wiggolly, and he's after a 6.21 now, just under 5 minutes to go. It's sort of sped off a little bit. Let's see what Sebastian Zietz can do. Needs an 8.53. Pace is his first turn, but the second move was strong. Now he swings the tail above the lip and has more opportunity coming his way here on the inside. Swings the tail. Oh, has the grab. Just can't ride out. And that was a lost opportunity there. Sebastian was looking like he was on his way to a pretty decent score there as Julian Wilson throws his board into a spin. Nice little reverse to finish, and that feels good. And right behind them, Wiggolly, Dantas. A big finish to that ride. I wonder what kind of damage he did on the outside.
It looked like it was a bigger wave. And if that was just the finish move, I would say that he's going to better the 4.7. You know, all three competitors getting a bit of the action in that last set. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Sebastian pull off that last move. Here's Wiggolly. Bigger set wave, carrying a ton of speed. Redirects off the foam, and then that move. So pretty much one move, but probably will better the 4.7. As you take a look now at Julian Wilson, that compressed bottom turn. Again, nice arc, clean. Beautiful roundhouse once again, stays with it. So some power in these maneuvers, and then looks down the line for a little innovation, gets the pop, lands backward and rotates out, so that would be his best wave. But I mean, this almost felt like it was going to be the best of the exchange. I mean, the wave choice was perfect. It had good pace in this wave, but a lot of different style of turns, you know, getting the fins free. Just the mistake at the end, I believe, is going to, well, it'll cost him, I mean, but some points were amassed beforehand. Just right there, if you'd have been able to just pull that off.
Different turns. Julian Wilson's wave was a little flatter, but he had the big finish. So an interesting one for the judges to break down as Wiggolly takes off and digs in, trying to add something solid to go with the 8-point ride from early on. And just finishes with a little float on the inside there. 45 seconds remaining. Julian Wilson here, nice. Arcing turn with some impact, and goes for the air reverse at the end, and he's just hanging on to it. Can he get clear of that foam? Yes,
That's
he can.
right.
So does very well to reel that move in there. He almost lost it off the back of his board.
You could tell that it was, I mean, this has been a very high action final 6 minutes. I mean, and so that you see he was a little winded because he had to work hard to get back out to the position to catch that wave.
Slow start, wasn't it, this heat? And we kind of needed a bit of room.
I mean, it feels like
to just get our breath back after Felipe's performance, but it's getting interesting now. The numbers starting to roll through for his previous ride. Julian Wilson's about to lock in a solid score. Still waiting for Sebastian's numbers to drop too. A couple of judges want to get another look at his last ride.
Well, to tell you the truth, you know, I think that Julian is, well, we've still got 2 waves for Wiggolly to come in, a wave for Sebastian, and then 2 waves for Julian.
Well, there's Sebastian's score, a 7.77. So he didn't get the number he needed to get into the lead. And Julian's just dropped an 8.93 and still has another number to come. We're waiting to see what Wiggolly scores for that big backhand blast.
Yep. So again, it was really that one maneuver was the scoring maneuver. He did kind of transition up that foamy section, but it's not going to score real high for that.
Sebastian just making his way in. The heat is over. We're just waiting on numbers to come through. Looks like he might be anticipating a round 2 heat and just trying to click into form here. 6.1 for Wiggolly for the big backhand snap. I believe he's still got another ride coming his way.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the last wave of the heat. I just don't see that being enough. And Julian actually is going to probably better his low score, so it looks like Julian's going to take the win.
Feels that way as our competitors make their way along the shoreline here. A high tide at Winky. And all three competitors just sweating on this result. Another solid number coming through for Julian Wilson. It looks like it's going to be in the 7-point range, Pete. A 7.63. A heat score total of 16.56. And round one of the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach is over. We'll be back with round 4 of the women's event. Don't go anywhere.